Okay, welcome to part 2 of exercise zones. In the first video, I talked a little bit about how to calculate your heart rate for a particular intensity. So if you wanted to exercise at 80% of your capacity, that first video helps you do the math to work out what that is. This second video is going to focus more on a bit more specific information when it comes to determining how you should be working out if you're going to hit a particular zone. So I've got this triangle here and this sort of a pyramid view. On the left hand side is the intensity, so if we were at 80% intensity, this would be where we would be on the pyramid, all the way up to 100. On the right hand side, I've got training piece length ranging from 2 hours down to about 15 seconds. So as we get more intense, the duration of exercise becomes shorter and shorter, and this triangle helps to visualize that a little bit. So at the bottom we've got steady state. We also call that long slow distance. It's got 3 zones: UT3, UT2 and UT1. UT3 is the least intense but the longest duration of exercise, so you'd be exercising around about 60 to 65, 70% of your capacity. These workouts might be something like a cycle ride, it might be something like a long row, something along those lines. I'm 42 now, so my days of a long run are long behind me, but I find cycling to be quite helpful, as well as going for a long row and just trying to keep that heart rate from 60 to 70. UT2, these are more intense, but we're still in that steady state zone, so we should still be able to have a conversation with somebody next to us if we needed to. These workouts are an hour long or so, or an hour broken down into different segments. I highly recommend breaking down an hour into different segments. Number one, it helps if you're on the ergometer, it helps with your back, takes the strain off a little bit. I'd have it round about drag factor 100, 110, something light. For something like 3 by 20 minutes, you'd have a 5-minute break in between, so the whole thing would take you about 70 minutes, with a good warm up and cool down, maybe a little bit longer. Another type of this UT2, you could do 6 by 10 minutes, say a shorter break, 2 minutes between each, and you could also do 2 by 30 minutes, again with a 5-minute or 6-minute rest in between. UT1, which is the more intense steady state, heart rates in the 75-80% zone, the duration 45 minutes to 30 minutes, so you could do a bread and butter 10k row in roughly that window, maybe plus or minus, but this is a rough guide, and that really takes care of the bottom of the pyramid and your steady state type workouts. It's very important to get that volume work done, because the whole pyramid rests on that foundation. I tell my athletes, if you're going to build a house, you want to build a house on solid ground and not sand. The next phase here or the zone, is the anaerobic threshold work, and this is between 80 to 90%. And some might argue it goes a little bit higher than that, and that really depends on your experience as an athlete. The types of workouts we're looking to do here: 3 by 4,000 meters, or 3 by 12 minutes, or 3 by 10 minutes. 3 by 10 minutes is your bread and butter anaerobic threshold work. I found it to be very effective in helping bring 2K scores down. So 10 minutes of exercise, in that heart rate zone, 80, 85, 90%, and you only have 10 minutes rest in between each. And as we get a little bit more intense, we could do 3 to 5 5-minute pieces with 9 minutes rest in between each. And obviously these 5-minute pieces are going to be more intense than the 10-minute pieces. The other thing you can do is 3 by 1,000 meters, 3 by 3 or 4 minutes. So as we bring the duration down, the percentage of intensity becomes up. And these pieces, as I said, anywhere between 3 to 10 minutes would work well. And then finally, we've got the anaerobic zone, which is sprinting. Important to get this in. Obviously, you're not going to do this every day, but research has shown that workouts in this zone can really help boost your performance pyramid. So your bread and butter type workout in the anaerobic zone is 3 by 500, or 6 by 1.5 to 2 minutes with 6 or 7 minutes rest. You could also do 2 minutes on, 3 minutes off, times 8. Really just bringing the intensity up to the top level, really trying to max that heart rate out, and then bring it back down again. And then finally, top of the pyramid, you could even break it down into 1 minute on, 1 minute off, times 10, or 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or even 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off for 5 minutes. Take a break, repeat that sequence again. And so those are basically your 3 training zones. So once more, your steady state, your low end, high volume, long periods of exercise between 60 to 80% of your heart rate. The next zone, 80% to 90%, that's your anaerobic threshold transportation type workouts. And then 90 plus is your full-on sprinting work, very high intensity, working at that lactic acid tolerance, and just as essential to do as your steady states, but probably not as frequently as your steady state workouts. So hopefully this helps explain the different training zones and helps you focus your training. So happy rowing.